Howdy, friends. It's Steve Depoe here with the Rose Realty Team with this week's real estate vlog from North Texas. Today, the wealth building machine. Rental properties, the wealth building machine. So look, rental properties shouldn't just cover expenses, okay? It should create wealth for you and your families and your family and your legacy. With smart planning, it becomes a consistent equity building income source. And that's important. Equity building and income source. Because you don't just want to, like I said at the very outset, you shouldn't just want to cover expenses. You should want to make money and start to build wealth for you and your family. Wealth still isn't it's still not a dirty word. Okay. But we want to build wealth for you and your family for the downline. Before I jump into that, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at moving to Dallas, Texas, on YouTube. We thank you and appreciate you for doing that. You'll get access to all of the vlogs we've done, both past, current, and future. You'll be able to send those and you'll be able to share those with friends, and you'll become, the smartest person in your neighborhood when it comes to real estate. And like I say, that's a blessing and a curse. So let's get on to it. So know the real numbers. Beyond the surface level rent, consider taxes, maintenance, vacancy, insurance, and turnover to reveal the true profitability of what your property is. Okay? Profit versus cash flow. Now, most landlords overestimate earnings. You need an accurate profit and loss will reveal the real opportunities for investment. Part of this is what we call the cap rate. And the cap rate tells you how you're doing compared to your particular environment or your particular geographical area. Make smart strategic upgrades. So low cost and high return. Improve, I'm sorry, do low cost and high return improvements. So think paint, appliances, digital locks, or a washer and dryer set. Okay, you don't want to knock out a wall and add a room and that kind of stuff. That's too expensive. Okay, and you'll be down for too long. Okay, boost value and retention. Small perks can justify rent increases and lower tenant turnover. So if you got, for example, like I just said, a new washer dryer compared to the old one that either keeps on breaking down or none at all, where the tenant has to take their laundry out to the laundromat or those kinds of things. Um, not good. So come up with a situation where you're doing low cost, high return type of improvements to make your rental property better, and that will then allow you to increase the rent. Treat your rental like a business. I can't tell you how many times we've run into people that said, "Hey, either number one, geez, I don't know my expenses, or I don't know, whether I'm making money. I'm probably making money. I have money left over at the end of the month." Okay, implement systems, lease terms, rent policies, maintenance schedules, and tenant screening all equal stability. Okay. Use professionals like property managers and smart landscaping can double yield and ease stress on you and your family. So you got to treat it like a business. It's not a hobby. If you wanted a hobby, then you should sell the property and you should take up golf or pickleball or watercolor painting. Okay, it's not a hobby. It's a business. Okay, focus on long-term leases plus retention. So reduce the risk of vacancy. Multi-year leases secure income and avoid costly turnover. Now, remember when you turn over, you got to go through. You probably have to do a refresh. You probably have to clean. You do a deep clean. You have to refresh, which means probably have to paint the place, etc. If you have longer term leases and you retain tenants, then you can kind of save those kinds of funds and those kinds of improvements. tenant quality matters. Okay, so just because somebody comes up and says I want to rent for 2 years isn't necessarily a great idea just to jump on them, right? Because you want a quality tenant in there who can who's going to treat your property like it's theirs, okay, and it's going to stay longer term. Plus a clause in your contract that says, hey, I got to come and check every now and then, just to make sure things are running smoothly. Okay, very smart idea. Um, Reinvest equity and use 1031 exchanges. So you build wealth through leverage, okay? And you're refinancing or get a 1031 exchange let you expand without big tax hits. Now, also, if you have a portfolio of properties, portfolio growth, scale it into a better performing or diversified properties using existing gains. What does all of this mean? That means use your property, okay, to leverage and to get into something else or something additional. Okay, so if you have a rental property that has no mortgage on it, that's great. Okay, so every time you collect a rent check, a certain portion of that's going to go to taxes, and is going to go to maintenance, and is going to go to HOA fees, and is going to go insurance, right? But that other chunk that's kind of left over is pure profit. Well, take that pure profit and buy another rental property. Or if it's or like I said, it's paid off, use the equity in that home to get a home equity loan that you can then go out and you can buy an additional property off what you had or off the equity you had built up in the first one. Okay, and then you get a portfolio of properties, a portfolio of investment properties or rental properties, and then before you know it, you have four, five, or six, and then your main business or your time that you spend during the course of the day is managing those properties. So in summary, rental isn't passive; it's powerful. With data upgrades and strategy, it can build income, equity, and future financial freedom. And that's what we're all looking for, right? We're not doing rental properties because we like people to call us at 1 o'clock in the morning saying the toilet's running. Okay, this is all geared towards building income and building wealth and building a legacy for you and your family. That's the end goal of acquiring rental property. Next week, we're going to talk about budgeting to sell your home. So there's a lot of things to consider when you're selling your home to set the price, et cetera, et cetera. Staging, no staging, pictures, no pictures, whatever. But budgeting to sell your home is our topic for next week. This is Steve. I am with the Rose Realty Team. Until next time.